Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Pascual.
And I'm Nocerino. Thanks for joining us. The FBI has released new details in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI has identified DNA from one of the gloves used by the kidnappers. It is now being analyzed for a possible match. The 84-year-old vanished from her Tucson, Arizona home more than 2 weeks ago. Law enforcement has not identified a suspect. Pima County Sheriff Chris Llano says authorities will conduct additional operations in the coming days. The FBI has released a sketch of a masked suspect wearing gloves, the same person seen tampering with Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera in the early morning hours.
The Trump administration says it will not give in to the demands from some New Yorkers who want the rainbow flag flown above Stonewall National Monument in Greenwich Village. The Department of Interior says no exceptions will be made. A new federal rule allows only U.S. flags to fly above national monuments, which are overseen by the National Park Service. The dispute follows visits from several couples on Valentine's Day who say they want to ensure the monument continues to represent their community. 60-year-old Chris Prieto and his partner looked up at the pride flag. Prieto says the monument represents a community and should remain that way.
Winter storms are expected to bring heavy rain and snow to parts of California. Pacific storms are bringing strong winds, possible flooding, and whiteout conditions to several areas. Travel will be dangerous on the Interstate 80, Highway 50, and parts of the Interstate 5. Forecasters advise anyone who must travel to carry an extra flashlight, food, and water in their cars.
The chair of the Federal Trade Commission, Andrew N. Ferguson, warns Apple CEO Tim Cook about the alleged political bias that lack conservative news. Most online reports talk about how some of the top stories of Apple News app had lacked representation on conservative news that has led mounting political pressure. The FTC couldn't force Apple News to make any changes on the content of the platform or application.
European countries say Russia is responsible for the poisoning of political activist Alexei Navalny. Russian leaders claim Navalny died of natural causes. However, NATO countries say they are confident he was poisoned by the Russian government. Samples taken from his body show a lethal toxin, which is found in South American poison dart frogs. Russia is now facing alleged violations of Chemical Weapons Convention and Biological and Toxin Weapons Convention.
A 19th century luxury passenger steamer is found at the bottom of Lake Michigan. 150 years after it sank, the steamer known as the Lac La Belle was built before the start of the Civil War. The shipwreck hunter, Paul Ehorn, completed a 60-year mission locating the rare finding. The Lac La Belle final voyage was made in October 13, 1872. The luxurious steamer killed 8 people on board.
Funding for the Department of Homeland Security has expired, causing a 4-day partial shutdown and leaving workers without pay. As negotiations continue, Democrats have blocked efforts to extend DHS funding for another 2 weeks. The shutdown is affecting agencies such as the Transportation Security Administration, the Coast Guard, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Negotiations between the White House and the Democratic leaders are continuing.
A Georgia father is facing charges giving his teenage son access to firearms using a school shooting. Colin Gray is on trial. He told the court he gave his son an AR-15 style rifle because he wanted to teach him about firearms and safety. Gray says he wouldn't have been angry if his son had made threats against anyone. His son, Colt Gray, does not yet have a trial date.
The Federal Aviation Administration reports about 14 flights have been canceled and 9 delayed at the El Paso International Airport. Officials say the delays are linked to Mexican cartel drones breaching U.S. airspace. The issue also involves a Pentagon plan to test high-energy counter-drone lasers near the airport without coordinating with the FAA about potential risks to scheduled flights. Flights were halted for 10 days. The FAA has now lifted the restrictions, allowing operations to return to normal.
Cal State University workers are on strike. Employees across the CSU system are marching, saying they have not received raises, while executives have received significant pay increases.
Our very own Elise Linares was at Cal State Northridge protest speaking with workers about how they feel about not getting a raise.
Right now, we're on the Cal State Northridge campus where skilled trade workers are on strike for unfair labor practices.
Over 8,000 California State University workers began their strike across 22 campuses after the CSU officials refused to honor pay raises for its trade workers. Workers varied from university plumbers, electricians, and maintenance staff. At California State University Northridge, workers rallied off of Zelza and Nordhoff Tuesday morning. The strike is expected to last 4 days, and the union hopes the university system will begin the steps for wage increases they agreed on back in 2023.
We hope to show the CSU system that they need to pay us for the third year of our contract that they denied us, and then we can move forward with the next contract.
The CSU system denies the claims made by the union, saying this agreement was contingent on increased funding from the state. According to the CSU system, they never received more funding, therefore they could not increase their wages. All CSU campuses will remain open during the strike.
We're here to bring attention to the CSU that they're treating us unfairly. We're in coalition with the other unions on our campus, CFA, CSUEU, that's faculty and staff, the professors, grounds, custodial. We're all out here today. We want fair wages. That's all we're asking for.
Reporting from Cal State Northridge, I'm Elise Linares from Valley View News. Back to you guys.
The Chkhaidze Permanente labor dispute is continuing, marked by an ongoing nurses strike and the recent end of a pharmacy walkout. About 31,000 healthcare workers are represented by the United Nurses Association of California and the Union of Healthcare Professionals. The strike is open-ended. Union leaders are seeking a 25% raise over 4 years to address inflation and improve employee retention. Workers say they are often understaffed.
The state says the administration plans to cut nearly $600 million in federal support, affecting California and 3 other Democratic-led states. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says it will end several public health grants distributed through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Local officials say grants help fund disease prevention and outbreak response. Los Angeles County leaders warn the cuts could limit efforts to combat measles and rising causes of sexually transmitted diseases. California is seeking to block the reductions in court.
40 to 50 homes have been evacuated after a possible home explosion in Centerville. Firefighters responded around 10 o'clock last night to find a house fully engulfed in flames. Families were sent to warning shelters and no injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. More updates are expected.
Southwest Airlines' new boarding process is still facing problems with its assigned seating plan. One of the main concerns from customers is limited overhead bin space. Passenger also says there is less legroom between seats and little storage above them. The changes come after Southwest ended its longtime policy of open seating, which allowed customers to choose their own seats.
Lunar New Year celebrations are taking place across our community. Our very own Marcus Nocerino takes us there with a closer look at the festivities.
Yes, thank you guys. Lunar New Year is finally here, and I'm here in Winnetka for the Vietnamese Association of San Fernando Valley's Lunar New Year celebration for the Vietnamese and Chinese holiday. The guests at the festival are celebrating the Lunar New Year by listening to live music performances in Vietnamese language and taking pictures in front of the Lunar New Year backdrop.
So both Vietnamese and Chinese celebrate the Lunar New Year at the same time. And it's very important because that it's traditional for us. Like every year that we basically have this time to traditionally have the time to unite for the family member and also the community.
This in my hand is a Lunar New Year red envelope, and when you open it up, you get free money. There were a lot of options for guests to eat from the culture, and they also got to learn the meaning of the horses.
The year of the horse is presenting very strong strength, and then like put away all the bad things. And then encourage the new beginning of the new year.
A lot from the culture was showcased at the festival, from martial arts to a dancing dragon called the Beast Nian. The Lunar New Year ends on March 3rd, and there's still some time for everyone to celebrate around Los Angeles to learn more about the Vietnamese and Chinese holiday. Reporting from Winnetka, I'm Marcus Nocerino for Valley View News. Back to you guys.
Coming up after the break, the latest from Hollywood, including box office numbers, a look at your weekend forecast, and Winter Olympic highlights in sports. Stay with us.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We have more news ahead. Let's check out what's happening in entertainment today.
Acclaimed actor and director Robert Duvall died earlier this week at the age of 95. Some of the most notable performances include Tom Hagen in The Godfather films and Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now. He won an Academy Award for his role in the 1983 film Tender Mercies. His publicist says Duvall died peacefully Sunday at his home in Middleburg, Virginia.
Checking in the box office, Wuthering Heights, starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, opened on Valentine's Day and has made about $32.5 million in its third day in theaters. Sony's film Goat has earned $35 million in its fourth day, topping expectations. Amazon MGM Studios' Crime 101 has brought in $16.3 million in its fourth day in theaters.
We're joined now by Luka Chkhaidze at Universal City Walk Hollywood, where he's speaking with visitors and gathering their first-hand experiences.
Bright lights, loud music, and the smell of fresh food fill the air at Universal City Walk Hollywood. Just steps away from the Universal Studios theme park, this outdoor hotspot gathers millions from around the world for a fun day just beyond the rides.
Neon signs glow overhead as visitors move from restaurants to shops, stopping for photos or going to the movies. Whether it's grabbing a bite or just taking in the scene, there's a steady buzz of excitement around every corner.
I love coming to Universal because there's always something to do. We have dance festivals, we have rides that you can go on, and City Walk is fun too because there's a lot of food.
And while the food and entertainment do draw the crowds, visitors say it's the energy, that sense of joy that makes the experience unforgettable.
We're here for a dance festival. Love coming to this one every year. Always a vibe. My favorite part is being able to come to the Universal City Walk. Good food, good shopping, and lots of people. I love it.
For visitors, it's more than just a place to eat or shop. It's a place to make memories. From first-time tourists to long-time locals, Universal City Walk continues to be a go-to spot in the entertainment capital of LA. Reporting from Universal City Walk Hollywood, I'm Luka Chkhaidze, Valley View News.
Thank you, Luka. Chavez, it's been raining a lot in LA this week.
It's been a rainy week for sure, Marcus.
Hey, Elise, what's going on in the weather?
Be ready to put your umbrellas away. For the San Fernando Valley this weekend, expect partly cloudy weather, with highs averaging in the high 60s. There will be overcast for a couple days before the rain returns next week. Be ready for the return of the sun early next week with highs in the low to mid 70s. Expect evening temperatures to drop from the high 40s to the low 50s. In the downtown area for the next couple of days, it'll be mostly cloudy with some sun peeking in throughout the day. Highs will be in the low to mid 60s. Expect showers by Wednesday, but that will only last a day before it warms up and the sun comes back. Highs for the rest of the week will be in the low 70s. For the evenings, highs will range from the high 40s to the low 50s. The beaches will have a low chance of rain with clouds in the morning and sun coming into the evenings. Highs for the next couple of days will be in the high 60s. Light showers will come on Wednesday again morning, but there will be a lower chance of rain in the evening. Then it'll slightly warm up with highs in the low 70s and even mid 70s. Compared to other regions, expect the beaches in the nighttime to be a little warmer with highs in the low to mid 50s. The inland areas will have quite a bit of overcast going into the end of the week with just a little bit of sun to end the weekend. Highs will be in the upper 60s to low 70s. We will have a couple days of complete overcast before the showers come back for just Wednesday. Highs around those days will be in the mid 60s. Lows at night will drop to the mid 40s. Then the sun will make a comeback at the end of the week into the weekend. Highs will be in the upper 70s. That's all I have for you for weather. Back to you guys.
You know, Marcus, it's been a busy week this week.
Yeah, it
in
has
sports.
Yeah, Biz, it's been really busy in sports. You're probably excited about it.
I'm so excited, man. Our very own Erick Mejia has more.
Thank you, Javis. The United States have won 24 medals at the Winter Olympics in Cortina, Italy. That's probably one of the higher rankings that they had. The team now has 7 gold medals after Elena Meyers-Taylor made history, winning gold at the women's monobob at age 41. She is now the oldest Winter Olympic gold medalist in an individual event, the most decorated U.S. woman in Winter Olympics history. For the first time in years, the NBA All-Star Game felt competitive. Still, many fans had mixed opinions about the format, and that reaction kind of carried out throughout the weekend. Miami Heat forward Keshad Johnson won the slam dunk contest, but the moment did not seem to capture the eye of the casual fan. Part of that may be due to the absence of Mac McClung, who was seeking a 4th straight title, but decided not to compete this year. In the three-point contest, out of nowhere, Damian Lillard, working from his ACL injury that he suffered when he was with the Bucks, delivered in the final round. Lillard edged Devin Booker after Devin Booker missed his final 3 shots. Now to the All-Star game, the league introduced 4 one-quarter matchups featuring 2 Team USA squads, Stripes and Stars, along with Team World. Team Stripes, led by LA Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard, advanced to the final with a 31-point dominating performance against Team World and Victor Wembanyama. In the championship round, Team Stars took control. Behind All-Star MVP Anthony Edwards, the Stars pulled away for a 26-point win to close out the night. Now, something in the Major League that has been brewing over like the past couple of months is that several unnamed team owners are reportedly really unhappy with how much the defending champions, the Dodgers, have spent this offseason. The Dodgers recently signed right fielder Kyle Tucker and closer Edwin Diaz to major contracts. Critics say that level of spending could widen the gap between big market and small market teams. But the Dodgers have not responded publicly. Instead, they've chosen to respond by extending veteran infielder Max Muncy and re-signing fan favorite Kike Hernandez, adding to a roster many already consider the league standard. The current labor agreement does expire on December 1st, and if a new deal is not reached, a lockout could follow. Now to Matador Sports. CSUN's men's basketball has extended its winning streak to 5 games with a dominant win over the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. The Matadors will look to make it 6 straight when they do face the Cal Poly Mustangs. It is also opening season for Matadors baseball. The team swept the Seattle Redhawks. That's going to be everything for sports for me. Back to you guys.
We're now joined by Javes Pascual at the Intuit Dome, where he experienced the NBA All-Star Weekend.
The 2026 NBA All-Star Game is here in Los Angeles, and it's being played at Intuit Dome, and we're asking fans about the new format this year. The 75th NBA All-Star Game adjusted its format in efforts to boost competitiveness and fan engagement. This year, the league featured teams consisting of U.S. versus world format, highlighting players such as Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and many more.
I used to play and everything. Out of all the years I've been a fan, this is my first time in attendance. I don't really care for that. I understand they have a challenge of trying to keep it fresh and interesting. I would prefer the old classic.
The trend seemed to continue with how fans felt about this new format.
The NBA is just doing too much, switching all these things, and even just the little technical fouls that they be calling. Like I don't like any of it. I'm here supporting all Canadians. I know Shea's not playing, but I'm pretty sure Jamal Murray is here too. So I'm just out here supporting Canadians. I'm from Toronto. My first time being invited to All-Star Weekend and actually being invited to an actual NBA All-Star Game, so I'm just here supporting the Canadians.
This All-Star Game has globalized the game even further. Reporting from Intuit Dome, I'm Javes Pascual for Valley View News.
Still ahead, our own Daniel Parker talks with CSUN's head athletic trainer, Stephen Grech, as National Athletic Training Awareness Month approaches.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Now we have Daniel Parker, who has caught up with CSUN's head athletic trainer, Stephen Grech, to talk about National Athletic Training Awareness Month.
Next month, the month of March, is National Athletic Training Awareness Month, and today I'm joined with CSUN's head athletic trainer, Stephen Grech. Stephen, thank you so much for being here. How are we doing?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We're coming off a pretty big win with men's basketball win over Hawaii, and so when we have our Matador players playing at the top of their level, what are some of the things that trainers do behind the scenes that other people that are showing up to cheer on the team might not understand that you guys are handling on the back end of things?
Athletic trainers are always in the ready position. So we're coordinating all the emergency care ahead of time. We're discussing with the visiting team athletic trainer what our emergency procedures are, what our response to injury would be, where the equipment is, what our signals are. We also coordinate with the campus police that are at the games, letting them know, we give them the signal of what would deem an emergency response for them to come onto the court. And then we also have team physicians at our men's and women's basketball games as well. And then during the course of the game, I mean, for the most part, we're enjoying it, unless obviously something happens injury related, and then we're ready to respond. And then it's just little simple things like, just hydration and checking on the guys and things like that, and then just enjoying the game.
Yeah, and I took the time to speak with you a little bit the other day, and you said that you guys also focus on the mental health side of things here at CSUN, and as a former pitcher myself, it's a game of failure. There's just so many times that things aren't going your way, and any sport has that, where there's that failure involved. So if you kind of go into it's a hard thing to kind of work through, but what's the approach you and your team are taking to kind of take on that?
I think it's been going on for 10 years where the NCAA has surveyed student athletes nationwide, and the number one healthcare need of student athletes collectively is mental health. And we're fortunate to have a good number of certified athletic trainers on our staff, but we could never probably have enough mental health practitioners and sports psychologists. We have a great collaboration with University Counseling Services, and utilize their counselors for mental health support of our student athletes. And then we have a dedicated athletics case manager. Her name is Marisol, and she's a licensed social worker by trade. And basically she is in athletics and in our athletic sports medicine clinic 5 days a week. And she's basically the athletic trainer in a sense for mental health in terms of managing those cases, overseeing them, being basically an open ear. She has walk-in appointments. She does programming, not only for our student athletes, but for our coaches in our athletic department. We're just trying to normalize care seeking, destigmatize, mental health, and just really more or less normalize it. Just how a student athlete will go up to an athletic trainer with an injury. We want student athletes to be proactive about their health care and their well-being, and that goes along with mental health. And she's in her third year in her position, and she does a fantastic job.
Yeah, and it's actually really interesting to hear even the coaches, because it's failure for them too, and they need the help as well. And I kind of want to go back to the first question I asked, where you're coordinating with police or just other things if there is an emergency. Unfortunately, we had a terrible incident at our men's baseball game yesterday where a young man from Seattle U went into the fence. So not that case specifically, but something terrible happens. What are the first things? What if you go down the athletic trainer's checklist, like if something happens, break that situation or any situation like that down for me.
So the athletic trainers that are at the games, they're responsible for the emergency response and triaging those injury cases that are urgent or emergent. And with that, we're going to assess the scene, in a sense, we're going to follow those ABCs, and we're going to, if the student athlete is conscious, but it's deemed, an emergency, then we're going to coordinate a 911 EMS response. We will support and stabilize the student athlete until campus police and EMS arrives. But that can be a 15-minute timeline by the time you make the call and by the time EMS arrives. More or less, it could be various things. It could be a student athlete unconscious. It could be a student athlete with a neck injury. It could be a student athlete with a severe dislocation or a broken extremity. those are basically a few of the cases that would deem an emergency response.
How important is it for you as an athletic trainer and your staff to coordinate with strength staff and strength training, and then also the coaches of each team as well? Because it has to be a collaborative effort for everybody to be on the same page and everybody stays as healthy as possible.
Yeah, we're constantly managing injuries. One of the things that we also do ahead of time is we review practice plans. We review the fitness programming that our strength coaches are putting out. There's usually a fair amount of student athletes that are injured and have limitations or maybe out from participation. We will coordinate, what their participation level with the coaches, with the strength coaches, and then find alternative exercises for them. And it's really important that that communication and collaboration is constantly happening, and it's happening ahead of those workouts.
How do you find yourself as the head of athletic training here at CSUN?
Yeah. Great question. I think there's a lot to unpack in that question. For me, I love sports. I grew up watching sports. Football was my first love. I played that all the way through high school. I think for me, when I really got into sports medicine, I got injured in my junior year. I got in a car accident. I didn't have anything major, but some soft tissue injuries, but it required me to go to an orthopedist. It did require me to do physical therapy. And that was probably when the light bulb went on and went, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm an athlete. I'm trying to get back to my sport. I got to, see these doctors and work with the physical therapists. And then I just started exploring, I knew I wanted to do sports medicine, but I was exploring all the professions that entail that encompasses sports medicine. And I think by my sophomore year of college, that's when I landed on athletic training. But as far as how does the sports guy go from being a professional, I think you just want to hone your craft. You want to be the best at who you are and what you do. And so just I think any profession, you just want to be the best and you work towards it.
Yeah, and one last question for you, Steve. What would you say the most rewarding part of your job is?
I would say the most rewarding is seeing an athlete come back from injury, seeing their success, sharing in their successes, and seeing kind of joy back in their face, once they return to sport and they're successful. And I think that's the most rewarding part of the job.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, so much for taking the time to be here. We have a lot of sports going on that Steve directly handles, and I can't say they're doing pretty well. So if you have the time, make it out to Northridge's campus and see men's basketball as they go into the Big West tournament. And thank you again so much, Steve, for taking the time for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. One man in Ohio proves patience really can pay off in a big way.
After playing the same 6 numbers for 22 years, a man is now $3.5 million richer. When he checked the lottery ticket, he shouted to his wife that they were getting a really big pool. He says he stuck the same numbers for more than 2 decades, even though he usually won only small amounts.
He spent about $10 a month on tickets. Even while out of town, he chose to lump sum of $1.7 million, about $1.2 million after taxes, and says he is now officially retired.
He plans to build the pool, buy a new home, and add more of a home gym. The winning ticket was sold at the convenience store in Akron.
That's all for us today on Valley View News. I'm Marcus Nocerino.
And I'm Pascual. For updates, follow your YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.